AI philosophy, enabling humans to establish destiny for themselves and establish a mind for AI, the selfish gene, and social Darwinism. Social Darwinism extends the principles of natural selection and survival of the fittest from Darwin's theory of evolution to human society. Asterisk, the selfish gene times puts forward that it is not human beings themselves that are selfish, but genes. Yang Zhu, an ancient Chinese philosopher, claimed, "I would not pluck a single hair to benefit the whole world. For a group, the more selfless individuals it contains, the stronger the group's competitiveness." Click the plus sign to follow this account for more wonderful content. Social Darwinism is a theory that applies the concepts of natural selection and survival of the fittest in Darwin's evolutionary theory to human society. It argues that a human society follows competitive and survival of the fittest rules, similar to those in the biological world, holding that social progress stems from the natural law of the strong surviving and the weak being eliminated. Advocates of social Darwinism support free competition and oppose government intervention in social inequality, claiming such intervention violates the natural rules of competition. Widespread from the late 19th century to the early 20th century, social Darwinism was invoked to justify capitalist policies, focusing on social competition, efficiency, and innovation. Nevertheless, the theory has drawn extensive disputes and criticism. Scholars argue that mechanically copying biological evolutionary laws onto human society is inappropriate, as it ignores the complexity and diversity of human communities. It is condemned for being cold and heartless, disregarding social fairness, justice, as well as the significance of social cooperation and mutual assistance. Furthermore, the theory has been misused and distorted to rationalize social disparity, racism, class stratification, and imperialist aggression and colonial plunder. On human nature, Kangzi stated, "Man's nature is evil. Goodness stems from deliberate cultivation." In other words, selfishness is innate to humans, while virtuous conduct is artificial, shaped by acquired education and restraints. This viewpoint resonates with modern sociology and economics. For instance, the rational man hypothesis posits that all individuals act rationally out of self-interest, making logical choices to maximize personal gains. Thus, self-serving behavior is socially permissible as long as it does not harm others. If institutional frameworks and policy mechanisms fail to incentivize people's self-interest and generate positive motivation, such systems will prove unsustainable. Hence, Adam Smith wrote in Times, "The Wealth of Nations**. It is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest." Though economic actors are driven by self-interest, both parties ultimately reap maximum benefits. Thinker Bernard Mandeville summarized this idea as private vices, public benefits. Individual self-seeking vices bring collective welfare. However, evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins argued, in times the selfish gene times that genes, rather than human individuals, are inherently selfish. Genetic selfishness manifests as kin altruism. Genes drive individuals to act selflessly toward blood relatives, with generosity growing stronger as genetic relatedness deepens. This echoes Confucian benevolence, which advocates graded love varying degrees of care based on kinship closeness and seniority order, so as to uphold family ethics and social order. By contrast, reciprocal altruism and group selection theories propose opposing views. Humans carry genes for both selfishness and altruism. Self-interest is innate, yet selflessness is equally inherent. Sacrificing oneself for collective interests may prevent an individual carrying prominent altruistic genes from passing them down. However, when creatures live in groups, these altruistic genes exist recessively across the population and sustain the entire species, a pattern fully consistent with evolutionary theory. For any group, a greater number of selfless members boosts overall group competitiveness. Even if selfless people are at a disadvantage in intra-group competition, without long-term extra compensation, altruism prevails over selfishness in intergroup rivalry. Consequently, clans, enterprises, countries, and nations united by solidarity gain an upper hand in collective competition, and the self-sacrificing individuals are eternally praised and remembered by their communities. In practice, individuals who persist in altruism and survive usually receive substantial additional rewards from the group. The book Times Super Cooperators Times contends that evolutionary laws encompass not only genetic mutation and natural selection, but also cooperation. Human instincts for cooperation, altruism, and even morality are all products of evolution. Evolution selects kindness over malice. This does not mean we cooperate and act altruistically because we are inherently virtuous, but rather that cooperative and selfless behavior improves survival chances, allowing these kindness genes beneficial to both individuals and groups to be passed on. Rival parties do not merely engage in dog-eat-dog struggles. They often opt for cooperation, as collaboration generally yields better outcomes than unbridled selfishness. Take competing corporations as an example. Rather than engaging in vicious price wars that exhaust both sides, they can negotiate cooperation to secure shared maximum profits. Cooperation is therefore a rational choice, laying the groundwork for moral codes. We may even say morality partially originates from rationality, a rationality rooted in self-interest. Ancient Chinese philosopher Yang Zhu held the belief, "I would not pluck a single hair to benefit the whole world." His philosophy means he refuses to sacrifice the slightest personal interest for universal gain, nor would he seize worldly benefits to indulge himself. This ideology prioritizes personal interests and feelings above all else, overemphasizing individual independence and freedom, while overlooking the importance of cooperation. I am Wu Huaiyu, a PhD from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a postdoctoral fellow from Peking University, and the founder of AI philosophy. For more detailed information, please refer to the complete version of this book. In addition to this short video, you can also click on my avatar to view more long videos.